Let me plug the joint. Stop blaming social media for your dating problems. You know, all I see are people who are coping with their inadequacies. All I see are people who are attempting to cope with their ineptitude. Stop blaming social media for your dating problems. I liken social media to money. Okay, what do I mean by that? There is a parallel between money and social media. Allow me to elaborate. When you give people money or people come into money too quickly, they're not used to money, they've never really been around it. But when people come into money too quickly or they get a lot of money, there's going to be some things to come to light about that person, right? A lot of people think people change when it comes to money. No, money just exposes who they have always been. Money just magnifies who they've always been. It's kind of like if you give someone power and you see how they handle power. How they handle power is insight to who they've always been. If a person abuses power, they've always been that type of person that was capable of that. They've just never been in that position for other people to see it. Same thing with money. Right? You just never saw that side of that person until they got the money. Right? Same thing with social media. Social media, all social media did was cast a bright light on the true nature of people in general. Men and women. Hold on, give me a second. Give me a second, y'all. All right, hold on. All social media did, the advent of social media, these different platforms, the Gram, YouTube, Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, TikTok even, all it did was cast a brighter light on how people really are. Allow me to elaborate. All right. let me do this first. Let me throw this up there. Blaming social media for your dating problems is just an excuse. Let's dive into the real reason your love life isn't where you want it to be. See, I hear people, they will blame social media for cheating. Oh, people cheat more because they got more options. Or relationships aren't what it used to be because people have more options or because of social media. Here's the reality of it. I'm going to tell you why people use social media as an excuse for their dating woes and also for failed relationships or for their perceptive or their perspective of how they believe relationships aren't what they used to be because of social media. I'm going to tell you why. Partner surveillance. Partner surveillance. Zach, what do you mean by partner surveillance? For people who are insecure, for people who are always going through people's phones and always trying to check up on the significant other to make sure their significant other isn't cheating or isn't up to no good. Social media just provided another avenue that they have to go check behind. That's all that is. You want proof? Why do people complain about, oh, I don't want to date someone that has a large presence or that's present on social media? I don't want to date someone that has a lot of Facebook friends or followers on the gram who are the opposite sex. Right? And the reason why they got a problem with that is because they're insecure about their place in that person's life. They feel like, look at all these different individuals that this woman has access to. Look at all these different individuals that man has access to. Right? I've literally heard people say, oh, if I get into a relationship, I'm going to scour my significant other's social media accounts, and I'm going to see who's following them, and who they're following. And I'm going to look at all their posts to see who's liking their pictures or to see who's commenting on their posts. Only insecure people do that. Stop blaming social media for your dating problems. Blaming social media for your dating problems is just an excuse. Let's dive into the real reasons your love life isn't where you want it to be. Here's the thing. People who have a cheating spirit with or without social media will cheat. Okay, let me say that shit again. People who have a cheating spirit, people who are capable of cheating, they're going to cheat with or without social media. It doesn't matter. Social media isn't the reason why people are cheating. It's just another tool for them to cheat. Let me say that shit again. Social media is not the reason why people are cheating. It's just another tool that cheaters use to cheat. So the advent of mobile phones, cell phones, that was another tool that people who cheat use to cheat. It's another tool. Certain apps like WhatsApp and other type of apps or other tools that people who cheat use to cheat. They're going to cheat no matter what. Social media has nothing to do with it. That's just an excuse for you to cope. Right? So when people blame social media for marriages breaking up or relationships not being what they used to be, no. Light is being shed on how people really are. You're just seeing it now. See, before mobile phones, before cell phones, and before social media, people were able to hide themselves better. People were able to camouflage what they did in the dark better. That's it. But the advent of cell phones and social media, all it's done is, one, it's created more tools for people to cheat that already want to cheat. And also it's created more ways for people who snoop to snoop, for people who perform partner surveillance. Now you got more avenues to look at. Oh, let me see if they're cheating. Let me check their cell phone. Let me check their social media. It just created a broader space for you to police, for people who are insecure that like to perform partner surveillance, right? Or surveillance on a significant other. It just gave you more area to cover. And that's what's really going on. You're like, it's too much, man, all these different ways they can cheat. Man, I can't keep up with all of this shit. It's too easy for them to cheat. Fuck. But it's not that it's too easy for them to cheat. That's the problem. It's too much ground for you to cover. It's too many ways they can hide themselves. That's all it is. And for you motherfuckers that like to snoop, you're being exhausted by all this snooping you do. That's all that shit is. Let me say this. For women that like attention-seeking women, let me tell y'all something. There was a time when if women wanted attention from men, they had to go outside. They had to put on whatever outfit that they wanted to put on, whether it's a form-fitting dress or a cat suit or whatever it is. They had to put that shit on and they had to actually go outside and put themselves in the space of men. Like, let me go someplace where I know a lot of men are going to be at. Right? And women still do that. But now women don't need to leave their homes to seek the attention. They can use social media. All they got to do is take selfies all day, selfies with their cleavage, ass shot selfies, selfies in the bathroom mirror where they are showing their assets, if you will. And then they just post that shit on social media, and then they watch all the thirsty guys come and obsess over their bodies or obsess over how pretty or attractive they are. So those women who do that on social media, they've always been attention seekers. They just have a broader audience to attention seek. Social media hasn't changed a motherfucking thing. It just shined a brighter light on how people really are. So now you can see how people really are. You shouldn't be mad at social media. You should be thankful. Social media is a wonderful tool. Not only that, but social media actually exposes the ignorance of people and how they think. People get on social media, they talk about their viewpoints and their opinions about certain topics and subjects, and you can either see how wise people are or how dumb people are. Social media is a wonderful tool. Stop blaming social media for your dating problems. Let me also say this for both men and women. Social media expanded the dating pool. So for guys that were always gamed up and had no problem getting women without the advent of social media, now they can get more women. Women who always got attention from men, and they always had various options when it came to the men that were interested in them, they just got more men to choose from. See, and this is what guys say, oh, women are pickier because of social media. Women have always been picky. See, there used to be a time when if a woman lived in a small town, she really only had guys to choose from in that small town or the surrounding areas. And every now and again, her and her friends might hop in the whip and they might drive 2, 3, 4, 5 hours to a town out the way to go party for the weekend. And women still do that shit. But it used to be women had to do that. Now women can get online and they don't got to drive nowhere. They get flown out now. They get flown out now. But it's still the same shit in that they've always gotten attention from men and they've always been picky. So again, the dating pool expanded so they have more options. The only guys that are threatened by that are guys who don't have options. Let me say that shit again for the motherfuckers in the back. The only men who are threatened by all the options women have because of social media are men who don't have options. Because if you are a player about your shit and you got some game, you got more options too. See, a man with options doesn't give a fuck about a woman having options. Let me say that shit again just in case you missed it. A man with options doesn't give a damn about a woman having options. Right? She doing her thing. He ain't tripping because he's doing his thing. Stop blaming social media for your dating problems. Blaming social media for your dating problems is just an excuse. Let's dive into the real reasons your love life isn't where you want it to be. Again, people who are already insecure, you're insecure more than ever now. That's it. Guys who had trouble getting women, you have even more trouble now. Because now those same women who live in your town, they're getting attention from guys on social media. So that means your game has to be even more on point now. Your game, the more options people have, the more on point people have to be. Period. The more, it's kind of like this. And I'm going to end it with this. If I'm unemployed and I apply for 10 or 15 different positions with multiple companies, and all of those companies want to interview me, I can afford to be picky because I have these options, assuming they want to actually hire me. So let's say I apply for 10 or 15 positions at 5 companies, but only one company calls me back. I really don't have any options. So I got to kind of deal with what's being offered to me. I got to deal with what's in front of me. See, when you are left with a limited amount of options and you wish you had more options, that might make you feel a little bit bitter. That might make you feel a tad bit bitter. And then instead of saying, let me look at myself, let me look inward and see what I got to do to make alterations to how I do shit. So that way I can increase my options. But that's not what people do. They get online and complain. What did I say earlier? Social media just shines a brighter light on the true nature of people. People who complain because of social media, now everybody can see that they're complainers. You get it? Got it? Like, share, and subscribe. I'm out.